We've got a sixth bonus topic here that we're going to talk about here today. And the thing we're going to talk about here today is this. Now, obviously, Star Wars Episode 8 was a very divisive film. And it's kind of funny. I don't refer to the prequels as divisive films because just we all hated it. But but Episode 8 was very divisive. You had people who very strongly liked it and a lot of people very strongly dislike it. And one of the question marks going in amongst people who disliked it and who liked it, going into Star Wars Episode 9, the one thing that a lot of them agreed on was, I wonder if JJ's going to retcon some stuff. And I've heard people who hated Last Jedi and who loved Last Jedi both asking that question. Okay, is JJ going to retcon some stuff here? Is there some stuff to be retconned? Is he going to come and go, all right, time for me. Daddy's home, everybody. Daddy's home. I'm back. Don't worry, I'm going to put everything back to the way I want it again. Is he going to do that? And I'll tell you what, even I myself thought, he might bend a few things here and there. Well, anyway, Empire just did an interview with J.J. Abrams, and he brought that topic up specifically about, is he going to change things that were done in Episode 8 and all that kind of stuff? And for whatever it's worth, here's what J.J. Abrams said about that. This is his words specifically. He said the following: I never found myself trying to repair anything. If I had done Episode 8, I would have done things differently. Just as Ryan would have done things differently if he had done Episode 7. But having worked on television series, I was accustomed to creating stories and characters that then were run by other people. If you're willing to walk away from the thing that you created and you believe in that it's in trustworthy hands, you have to accept that some of the decisions being made are not going to be the same that you would make. And if you come back into it, you have to honor what's been done. I'm going to read that last part again because I think there's some really insightful stuff here. If you're willing to walk away from the thing that you created and you believe it's in trustworthy hands, you have to accept that some of the decisions being made are not going to be the same ones that you would make. And if you come back into it, you have to honor what's been done. I think there's some fascinating things here that we can glean. Number one, I think that most people will want to gravitate towards is, basically, J.J. Abrams just acknowledged, oh yeah, there are things done in Episode 8 that I wouldn't have done. There are things done in Star Wars Episode 8 that I myself would not have done. But he also then kind of says that he expected that. Because, he's got a history of working in television where other writers and showrunners will then come on and do things that you wouldn't have done. And I like that he kind of says, look, I never approached it thinking that I'm the granddaddy of all things. I need to come in and fix things. No, just because things were done that I wouldn't have done doesn't necessarily mean they need to be corrected. But his last line is interesting, saying that you have to honor what's been done. In essence, to me, it seems like what J.J. Abrams is saying is that, no, I'm not coming in to retcon things from Episode 8. Yes, things were done in Episode 8 that I myself wouldn't have done, but that's where we're at. And now I'm going to continue the story on in making decisions that I want to make, but honoring what has come before. So that's interesting to me, as well as the acknowledgement that, Episode 8 is not the film I would have done, per se. However, Rob, I also think there's something we need to keep in mind here. This is J.J. Abrams, the guy who insisted from the top of every city tower, Benedict Cumberbatch is not playing Khan Noonien Singh. He is not playing Khan. And then, of course, he was playing Khan. So we just got to keep that. I'm not saying I don't believe him. I'm not saying J.J. Abrams is lying. I am simply saying in the midst of these conversations, we do need to keep in mind who it is that's moving his lips. It's J.J. Abrams, who has, from time to time, been known to try to cast a little bit of misdirection. So what he's going to do with Episode 9 here, I don't know. He doesn't go into, which I think was probably wise of him, Rob, he doesn't go into specifically what was done in Episode 8 that he would not have done. I will tell you what, though. I greatly admire J.J. Abrams as a filmmaker. I love The Force Awakens. Love it. I love Rian Johnson as a filmmaker. And I liked The Last Jedi, but it's my least favorite of all the new Star Wars films, if I'm going to be honest. There are things in there. I have heard from a number of sources very, very close to Lucasfilm, Rian and JJ don't like each other. I've heard from some pretty reliable, very close to the source things, Rian and JJ do not like each other. which actually makes me admire them both, that when they speak publicly, they speak very positively each other. They never down trash each other, and I respect that very, very much. I think that's the way you should do business. But still, for him to say, yeah, there are things done in 8 I wouldn't have done. That leaves all of us to speculate, what were those things, JJ? What things did you not like about episode 8? And I'm glad he didn't go into that, all that sort of stuff. But Rob, understanding his history and understanding and now seeing what he has said, what do you make of these comments that JJ just gave us?
I believe him, actually, and I'm no fan of J.J. Abrams, not as a person, but as a filmmaker. I've not been a big fan of what he's done theatrically with his movies. But I think episode 8 sort of ended wherever they were going to go. They're basically having to start over. I mean, you've got the relationship with Rey and Kylo, and you're going to build off of that. But as for the rest of the movie, it's almost like it's a brand new deal. Because what story was remaining to be told? Whatever happens between Rey and Kylo, okay, we can see that carry forward. But I think J.J. Abrams had a lot of heavy lifting to do that he's still doing right now, probably in the edit bay, trying to make everything come together and really work. And I think that episode 8, he could look at it in his rearview mirror, because not a lot happened in that movie that's going to affect what he was doing going forward. And I think that he's got bigger fish to fry. So I think he was absolutely being truthful. I think more so than any other movie that's ever been made, The Rise of Skywalker that's a tough nut to crack. And for as much as I've not admired JJ as a director, as a feature film director, I do admire the task that he took on, because it's thankless. There's no way that he can really win. And if he sticks a landing and gives us something, answers questions, gives us a satisfying movie, it'll be an enormous triumph. And I have to say, John, I'm pulling for him. For as much as I hate those Star Trek movies he made, and I truly hate them with every fiber of my being, I want Rise of Skywalker to be great. I want J.J. Abrams to provide us something that we can all look back on and go, you know what? That was really cool. And I'm really hoping he's going to stick this landing. And I think that he knows he's got to stick this landing. And I think he's probably bleeding out of his eyeballs on a daily basis trying to make this movie the best movie it can be. So I'm really pulling for JJ, and I honestly believe him when he says that he's not retconning anything from Last Jedi. And I want this movie to be good. I don't think I've ever had more goodwill toward a filmmaker and wanted him to stick the landing, especially somebody I disliked, ever in my entire life, than I want this guy to make a great movie.
You know, you raise a fascinating point that I want to just touch on a little bit here. And I haven't really thought of it in these terms. When you look at how episode 8 ended, it didn't end in such a way with, well, the only way you can go now with this is this direction or this direction. It kind of ended in such a way that whoever was going to direct the next film or write the next film could really take it in any direction they wanted to go. And I never really thought of it in those terms. But I mean, that's one thing Johnson really did do. He ended the film in such a way that, hey, whoever's writing and directing the next one, the sky's the limit. You can do whatever you want to do, because these things, we have certain things in certain places right now, but we didn't end the film in such a way that the only logical way you can go with this thing is go to this direction. Nope, you can go in 1,000 different directions, and it's going to be neat. Again, to me, I adored The Force Awakens. It's a different experience from me from, say, there have been other Star Wars films that I've watched and I disliked it more every time I saw it. This was one of those films that I've watched it multiple times and liked it more every time that I saw it. And still nowhere near the quality of the original trilogy. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's the original trilogy way up here. And then down here somewhere is, you know, you got The Force Awakens, you got Rogue One, you got Solo, and then you got The Last Jedi. And then way down by the bottom of my feet is the prequels and Clone Wars and some of Rebels, although I liked a lot of Rebels too, but it is what it is.
Where does the Christmas special sit?
Oh, didn't you know the Christmas special doesn't exist? Didn't you know that? Life Day. No, the Christmas special does not exist. We should never speak of this again. So it's going to be interesting to see where he goes. Anyway, Chris, I wanted to ask you, you hear J.J. Abrams saying this stuff. Understanding this is the same guy who said that Benedict is not going to be Khan. is he setting us up to go in and finding out he's retconning everything left and right in The Rise of Skywalker? Or do you, like Rob, feel that, no, he's just going to take it in his own direction, not retcon anything? What do you think he's going to do?
I mean, let's quickly be clear. That whole con thing was so stupid.
Yeah.
It was so dumb, and I was so mad the whole time. Just being like, we know that's who it is. Stop it. I'm with Rob on this, though. I think that it's not going to be retconned. And you know what? Kids who are saying it should be retconned, don't be babies. Stop it. It exists. I'm sorry you don't like it. And you are so welcome to not like it. But the movie's there. And that ending really is a gift to a writer and director. Like you guys were saying, you can really go anywhere with it. There are lots and lots of possibilities here. So if you don't like the original one, that's okay. Things don't get erased, though, you guys. It happened just like that Christmas special happened.
Didn't happen. Christmas special didn't happen. But I mean, that reminds, like, my approach to here's the funny thing. I hate the prequels, but I will fight to the death to keep them as canon because they're canon. The prequels are canon. Doesn't matter if I don't like them. It doesn't matter. They're canon. And I will argue with anybody till I pass out from lack of breath that you cannot touch the canon. You cannot touch the prequels. You cannot retcon the prequels. They may be the stupid, heroin addicted, jobless, completely screw up in life uncle that still lives in your grandmother's basement. But guess what? He's your stupid uncle that lives in your grandmother's basement.
Exactly.
And he's still family. And to me, that's the prequels. I don't like the prequels. I don't have to spend time with my stupid uncle if I don't want to. I don't have to sit down and spend time watching the prequels. But guess what? They're canon. And don't you dare suggest to me that you retcon the canon because they're canon. You keep them. And that's kind of my attitude towards that. And that's how I feel about episode 8 as well. It's happened. It's canon. Now where do you go from there? So move on from there. And I know, guys, what do you think about JJ's comments, and do you believe him at this point? Jump on down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys.